This is my first time with a handheld console. I never grew up with any handheld console, so it's my first time playing all these games. How this works is I play a bunch of games on the system and then I choose my 10 favorites. I'm gonna give each game 10 minutes or till I get a good feel of it, and then I can move on or play through the game if I want. Rules are, no remakes or remasters, only one per franchise, spin-offs are their own thing, and I try to ignore games I know are bad. Normally I have a good idea of what the general public thinks are the best and kind of use that as a basis, but I didn't have that with this, so I just kind of went with the names I recognized or thought could be fun. So if I missed your game, or there was one that's hugely popular, sorry about that. I just kind of took a handful, basically. Alright, let's begin. Daredevil, I know a console release was supposed to come out, but it never did. But I did realize a Game Boy Advance version came out, so how is it? Well, I really don't like it. It's a beat 'em up, which is one of my favorite genres, but it's also not a very fun one. It's not bad, but it's mediocre. Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, this game kicks ass. Not only in terms of writing and characters, but also in how it starts. You start as a team of kids versus another team of kids in a snowball fight. It's a non-threatening way to introduce the characters and mechanics, while showing what the characters are like without immediately thrusting you into the story. The music is also not that bad, and I really like tactical RPGs like Shining Force, so that fills that niche. F-Zero GP Legend. For sure a fun F-Zero game, but not as fun as the console versions. But it's still good for a Game Boy game, and has a lot of fancy presentation and music for the limited hardware. F-Zero Maximum Velocity. Didn't feel as good as GP Legend to me. Not a lot to say about it here, other than GP Legend is a whole ass story mode, and this one is set more like the ones I'm used to, where you choose your character and such. Ghost Rider on GBA will take some things from its PS2 counterpart, like the combo system, but there's a lot that's different with it being a 2D beat 'em up. Honestly, it looks and sounds alright, but again, it is more of a beat 'em up than a hack and slash, which isn't a bad thing at all. But like, this one's pretty damn average for me. Invincible Iron Man. Straight up, I don't like the cutesy style he's in. But other than that, the game's alright. It reminds me of E-SWAT or Shinobi, but not as good. I still had a good time with this one too. I love me some Jackie Chan adventures, but this game, with the same name, does not do it for me. It's floaty and slow. The beat 'em up part is okay but bland. But this is motherfucking Jackie Chan. There's so much that could be done here. Action-wise, stunt-wise, parkour-wise, acrobatic-wise. But nope. This one is just not it. A huge letdown. Justice League Heroes The Flash. This game is ugly as fuck, but it's honestly the best beat 'em up I've played on the GBA so far. Out of the ones I've just played. Still not good enough for me to like it, but it's okay. Justice League and Justice for All. I hate how this one looks. It feels like a cheap-ass plug-and-play game. Justice League Chronicles. For sure, the best of these Justice League games, both in visuals and gameplay. Not the sound, though. The sound definitely took a big hit so the visuals could live. This one's the closest you're gonna get to a Justice League Heroes port for GBA. It's straight up okay, but it's better than the other two. Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. Gotta shout out to the cutscenes, because even though it's not good, this is leagues beyond what other Game Boy Advance games were doing. Gameplay wise, it works on a card system, where every card is either an attack or some sort of summon thing. This is how Disney characters get involved as you summon them. It's an interesting idea that can add strategy to the mix. For me though, it felt like I was just hitting attack and hoping for the best, as the game felt too fast for me to really look at the numbers in the corner of the screen to pick my cards. Kirby and the Amazing Mirror. I love Kirby games, I really do, and having all these Kirbys is so cool. Solid Kirby game. Kirby Nightmare in Dreamland I don't like as much as Amazing Mirror, but it's still a super solid Kirby game. Kirby kind of has like consistency to games, where they're all like really similar, but they're all really quality. Curious if it will continue that way as I look at more modern consoles. Knight's Kingdom is based off the LEGO series Knight's Kingdom. It was the Bionicle before Bionicle, and I really loved this stuff as a kid. I had the cards, the posters, the toys, all of it was good. As for the game, I don't think I recommend. It's a top-down dungeon crawler, I guess, but you'd be far better off with something like Zelda, I guess? Speaking of Zelda, Legend of Zelda 4 Swords I could not play because I needed to link up other Game Boy Advances, I guess? I didn't even know linking up Game Boy Advances was a thing. Nintendo can really be ahead of the game in some things, and in a lot of other things not so much. But yeah, I couldn't play this one. Lucky for me, there's another Zelda on here. Legend of Zelda and the Minish Cap. It's another top-down Zelda. If you're a fan of the Zelda on the SNES, then you'll love this one too. It's fun and has good music. Lord of the Rings: Fellowship of the Ring. This game is gross. It's ugly. Look how bad the characters look. Look at that. Feast your eyes on this and tell me it's okay. Also, unless you've read the book or seen the movie, it can be hard to comprehend what the hell is happening. It seems to be an RPG, but I'm not positive on that because as soon as my 10 minutes were up, I quit this game so quick, I was not sticking around any longer. Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers. This ain't bad. Sure, it looks ugly, but the sound and gameplay are good. You fight and you kill and you collect items and you loot off corpses. It's surprisingly kind of fun. Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King is literally the same thing with some improvements, including a little helper guy. And music sounds good for the Game Boy Advance and gameplay still kicks ass. Lord of the Rings: The Third Age got kind of like a tactical RPG here set in the universe of Lord of the Rings. It's alright. I need to play the console version though at some point. But like this one, it's not a bad choice. It's not going to beat Final Fantasy Tactics, but it's still not bad. Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. It's a Mario RPG, sort of like Paper Mario, but one of the biggest differences is that one button controls Mario and the other button controls Luigi. And I honestly love it. That's pretty cool. Even if my brain was dumb and had a hard time getting used to it. The humor is also top notch. Mario didn't have a mainline platformer on the Game Boy Advance, but he did have this, and it's so worth it. Plus, look at this cute dance. It's adorable. I won't show you the music though, because I don't trust Nintendo. It's also kind of fun that Bowser isn't the main baddie in this one. Mario Kart Super Circuit looks really good. Not only is it pretty, but it's a fun-ass Mario game. You can link to play with others too, I think. But yeah, this one's solid. Mario Party Advance. So since you will be mainly playing single player, having a party game on a handheld feels silly. Also, what the fuck are these questions? Anyway, so how this one works is there's a story and each minigame is tied to the story. You meet a character, do the minigame, then roll the dice and repeat. The minigames are okay, but I'd rather play a party game with people. You can of course link GBAs, but again, I'm not doing that. Mario vs. Donkey Kong. It's kinda a puzzle platformer, sorta in the vein of the OG Donkey Kong, but in this one it's about flipping switches and grabbing keys and collecting Mario toys, because Donkey Kong stole all your Mario toys. It's alright I guess, but it's for sure not my kind of game. Medal of Honor Infiltrator. Never has D-Day looked so adorable. What is this? Why is this? A top-down shooter? And it's not very good. It is better than our next game though. Medal of Honor Underground. I praised the PlayStation version, but this version, I'm lucky I know this blue pixel is an enemy. Might not have known if I didn't play the PlayStation version. I mean, they tried to put a first-person shooter on the console, which is bravo for them. But this is too damn ugly to be okay. Metroid Fusion. Either this game is good, or I'm starting to like Metroid a lot more. It looks good, it plays good, exploring feels good, and you get a lot of chances to look at your map. And it's really cinematic for a Game Boy Advance game. Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Red Rescue Team. To this day, I still haven't played a mainline Pokemon game. They often come in twos, and both are basically the same game, but with some differences. But god damn it, I couldn't get one to work. I kept trying, and I just gave up. I did get this game to work though, which is a Pokemon spin-off. In this one, you play as the Pokemon. This game is not my thing. I didn't enjoy the combat or really much of anything about it. One day I will play a mainline Pokemon game. Revenge of Shinobi. I enjoy Shinobi games, but this is not that. This isn't even the same style. It's also pretty slow, it's hella ugly, you gotta be crazy precise just to get upstairs. This does not deserve the Shinobi name. Sonic Advance. It's honestly pretty fun. I think I played a Flash game version of this or something. I like the more adventure style look in this 2D world. I would never say this competes with the mainline 2D games, nor would I say it's a must play. But I will say it's a totally decent Sonic game you can't go wrong with. It's just a little too basic. It does have a ton of characters though, unlocked right off the bat. Sonic Advance 2 decided you don't get to start with the characters anymore. Now you have to unlock them. I didn't like this one as much. It felt kinda boring, honestly. Some new speed mechanics did help with making it better, but overall this one is not as good as number 1. Sonic Advance 3 has this really cool feature where you can mix and match a team of 2, and based on the choice it changes some mechanics. Love that. And as much as I love Hub Worlds, I absolutely love Hub Worlds, this one sucks and I wish it didn't exist. This might be one of the only games with a Hub World I played where I felt like it would be better without a Hub World. I think Advance 3 is the best of them. I still don't like it as much as the console ones, but all 3 of these Advance titles are decent. Sonic Battle is a fighting game with a lot of story. I do enjoy the story elements, and not that I'm a Sonic lore god or anything, but there's so much wrong with this story if it's supposed to make sense with Sonic's continuity, or even its own continuity. Also, Tails has a house in the shape of his head. But yeah, I like the story segments, honestly. The actual combat, I'm not a big fan of. I will say it's unique, though. I don't know any other game that uses combat like this, and it does look good as well. Spider-Man Mysterio's Menace has a style that in many ways is trying to replicate the PS1 Spider-Man games. This one is crawling around and fighting baddies. It isn't bad, and you can tell they really wanted something like that PS1 Spider-Man. From health bars to pickups to combat to armored Spider-Man suits, the game really wanted to be the PlayStation 1 Spider-Man. And while I don't think it's as good, it is still a good game on the Game Boy Advance. Spy Kids 3D Game Over. A game about a movie about a game. So you play as Junie, and the sprites look nice. The game wasn't very fun though, and I was hoping it would be closer to the film. But, yeah, I didn't like this one that much. Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith is a beat-em-up with light RPG elements, and it's honestly pretty damn good. Like, I was surprised. It's not just a good Star Wars game, but it's a good GBA game. And you know I love beat-em-ups, and mixing Star Wars with beat-em-ups is a match made in heaven. I realize I just said that, and the next game is a Star Wars beat-em-up that isn't good. Star Wars Jedi Power Battles sucks. The Dreamcast version and the PlayStation version are fantastic, but the Game Boy Advance version is awful. The combat isn't so bad, but the platforming is broken as hell. I have a video comparing all versions in depth if interested. It's a good video. Hold up. Did I say this one sucks though? I did not know the meaning of the word sucks. Star Wars The New Droid Army, based off the Attack of the Clones, is next. And it redefined sucks for me. Look at these graphics. Look at that flicker. This isn't a hardware issue. This is how the game's supposed to look. On top of that, it controls like shit. Absolute garbage. And it's so confusing where to go. Star Wars Trilogy, Apprentice of the Fourth, follows the original films. First up, I hate how it looks. I've never been into this style of animation, and it often makes actions take longer than I want for animation frames. I just don't like this style. That being said, it didn't hinder me much in this game, and I found myself really liking the game. The gameplay shines through, and made me push past my dislike of how it looks, because honestly, it's a fun little shooter platformer. Super Monkey Ball. This is really just the experience of Monkey Ball, but it's worse, so that it could be on the GBA. But honestly, the experience is there. It still works and still plays like Monkey Ball. It still has the sound and the announcer, and it's honestly just an uglier Monkey Ball you can take on the go. And I love me some Monkey Ball, so if I grew up with a GBA, I feel like this would have been a must-have. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is based on the 2003 Turtles series, which is my favorite, so I was excited. On top of that, it's a beat-em-up, and the Turtles have always had killer beat-em-ups. This one was good too. I will say it doesn't compare to the other TMNT beat-em-ups. The arcade ones, the Genesis ones, and the SNES ones are better, but this one's still alright. And they mixed it up with some variety too. Overall, it's fine, but not great. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 Battle Nexus is a huge step down in my opinion. Each level starts with stealth. This isn't a bad thing, but the stealth isn't fun. The goal is to get your weapons so you can actually fight the enemy, and you have to do that every fucking stage. How do you keep losing your weapons? Fuck that. I'm not saying stealth won't work, I'm just saying this isn't how you do stealth. Something in the vein of Tenchu could work better for TMNT stealth. Tekken Advance is kinda like my review for Monkey Ball Jr. It's an uglier downgrade of a main game, but still looks good and is still impressive to be on the GBA. It's a legitimate experience worthy of the name on the GBA. Ultimate Alliance on GBA. Nothing is good. Movement sucks. Fighting sucks. Hit detection sucks. It looks gross. For sure, play the console version. But this one? Do not play it. This does not deserve the glorious name of Ultimate Alliance. Alright, well that's it. Let's get to picking my top 10. I got 46 items, so I need 11 because the folder counts as 1. So, no. Jesus, got a little bit of a lag. Let me... Boop. Yeah, I don't think any of these. No, yes. Yes, no. 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 Oh shit, I guess 12 because we have this thing right here. Maybe. Okay, I gotta choose between these 3 Sonic Advances, and I choose number 3. Sonic Battle, okay. Okay. No. 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 Okay, so we got 14 items minus 2 is 12, so need to get rid of 2 games. Let's go ahead and get rid of... Sorry, Metroid. Oh my... No, wait. Let's get rid of this. Okay. And then is it Metroid? Is it really Metroid? Yeah, I think it is. Sorry, Metroid. Bloop. Alright, these are the 10. Give me a minute to move them around. Number 10, Metroid Fusion. I know it looked like I got rid of that game, and I did. I didn't realize Sonic Battle was still in there, so I flip-flopped them. Because Metroid Fusion deserves to be here more than Sonic Battle. Number 9 is Mario Kart Super Circuit. Number 8 is Tekken Advance. Number 7, Lord of the Rings Return of the King. Number 6, Sonic Advance 3. Number 5, Spider-Man Mysterio's Menace. Number 4, Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith. Number 3, Super Monkey Ball Jr. Number 2, Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. And the number 1 is Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. If you like this style of video, I have a whole bunch more on a whole bunch of different systems. Check that out. I'll try to remember to put a playlist in the description, but if you don't see it there, you can still find it on my page.